the portion of the ancient writings of Ayub or Job. When you have tested me, I will come out like gold. Ayub, Job 23:10. This evening or late evening, each day we will do, sometimes you hear people say they do the Torah portion. Well, we'll be doing the Ayub portion. We'll take 3 chapters a day, read them, and try to, break them down a little bit. A lot of times we all go through so much stuff. Demonic attacks, evil attacks by people, and different things like that. So the YAHU'AHS here in the greater Cleveland, Ohio area, we're going to take this book because a lot of times we feel like we're suffering, but we don't know the real suffering, as Ayub went through, Job went through some suffering. I believe outside of Yahushua, he really suffered the most out of who we see as either the prophets or of the writings in his suffering. But yet he stood, strong through all of what Ayub went through. It's a very long chapter, so we'll be on it for some months probably, because we'll take 3 chapters a day. Based on our time, we might pick up some extra. Please join us in it if you have questions about Ayub, or you can relate. Inboxes at YAHU'AHS, YAHU, YAHU'AHS, or Yadah right now. YahuahshamaYahu, YAHU'AHS, YaHU, and we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. So I'll start the first portion. I'll be doing YAHU'AH chapter 1. If you have your scriptures there with you, please join us in the reading. There was a man in the land of UTS, and I do apologize, I don't know what part of land. I'm assuming it's in the Asian area, okay, whose name was Ayub. And if anybody does know what the UTS, please inbox or put the comment here. And that man was perfect and straight. Let's understand when we talk about perfect, so I'm going to break that down. When we're talking about perfect, that means he was complete in all his ways. No one is perfect in this realm right now other than Yahuwah. But he was complete in his ways and wholeness, in his loyalty and dedication, or his allegiance to Yahuwah. And straight. And one who feared Allah, Almighty One, Yahuwah, and turned aside from Ra, evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. And his possessions were 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a very large body of servants. So that this man was the greatest of all people of the east, which was near Asia. And his sons went and had a feast in the house of each on his Yom, which was more than likely their birthday, and sent and invited their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it came to be when the Yom of feasting had gone around that Ayub or Job would send and set them apart, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings, the number of them all. For Job or Ayub said, it might be that my sons have sinned and cursed Allah, Almighty One, in their hearts. And it's interesting that he says this because they were celebrating their birthday. That's why we are not to celebrate our born days. It's okay to say, I'm glad you made another year and this, that, and the fourth. But most people, when they're celebrating birthdays, the whole week, they go drink, party, and it's so much self-idolatry. So we see here that they had a feast on their YAHU'AH. And it was basically talking about birthdays. This Ayub or Job always did. It says, curse Yahuwah Almighty One in their hearts. This Ayub or Job always did. And the YAHU'AH came to be that the sons of Yahuwah Almighty One came to present themselves before Yahuwah, and Shaitan also came along among them. Satan, the accuser of the brethren, the adversary. And Yahuwah said to Shaitan, from where do you come? Where do you come? Because at this time, the enemy was able to go back and forth where Yahuwah was. Even though he was thrown out at that time, he was still able to, communicate with Yahuwah. From where do you come? And Satan answered Yahuwah and said, from diligently searching the arts or the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahuwah said to Shaitan, have you considered my servant Ayub, that there is none like him on the arts, a perfect and straight man, meaning he was very complete, honest, and allegiance and loyal to Yahuwah, one who fears the Lord Almighty One Yahuwah, and turns aside from evil. And Shaitan answered Yahuwah and said, is Ayub or Job fearing Yahuwah Almighty One for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, and around his household, and around all that he has on every side? Meaning that Ayub or Job had everything, He covered him very much. And so he's basically, going, toe-to-toe with Yahuwah, basically just saying, well, I guess so. He got everything, And around all that he has on every side, you have Baruch, the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in land. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike all that he has. Take away everything that he has. If he would not curse you to your face. So basically what he's saying is just like he says today. If you give man everything that he desires and wants and protects him, then he's fine. But you strip him, take everything from him, and he'll curse you. Most people do. If a man is rich and then everything is taken away, most rich people, not all, but a lot, will just kill themselves. They'll jump off bridges. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't want to live. That's what the enemy was saying to Yahuwah. But stretch out your hand and please, and strike all that he has, if he would not curse you to your face. And Yahuwah said to Shaitan, see, all that he has is in your hand. So he gave the enemy everything that Ayub or Job had. Only do not lay a hand on himself. And Shaitan went out of the presence of Yahuwah. So basically he said, you could do whatever you want to him. You could take everything from him, but you can't touch him because he's mine. And the YAHU'AH came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their mother, the firstborn. And the messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plunging and the donkeys feeding alongside them, when Sheba fell upon them and took them away, and they smote the servants with the edge of the sword. And I alone have escaped to inform you. So basically, all his, this is when Shaitan was able to do things. The oxen were dying off. The sword fell upon his servants. Only one escaped to come and inform him, Ayub or Job. Okay. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of the Lord Almighty One, Yahuwah, fell from the Shamayim and burned up the sheep and the servants. Oh, wow. The sheep and the servants. And consumed them. And I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, and made a raid on the camels and took them away. And they smote the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. So the wrath of Shaitan had came upon Job, because he was a very wealthy man, extremely wealthy man, extremely. And so things were being taken away from him. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young men, and they were all dead. And I alone have escaped to inform you. So now his children are being killed off, okay? Then YAHU'AH rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head. See, men shave their heads back there because you're not to shave your head and everything. But when you're in mourning, sadness, men shave their head and tore their clothes off. And he shaved his head. And he fell to the ground and did obeisance. I really don't know what that word is. So I would probably have to look that up. If anyone knows, please let me know what that word means. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will return there. YAHU'AH has given, and YAHU'AH has taken away. Baruch be the name of YAHU'AH. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Look here what he says here. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I return there. YAHU'AH has given, and YAHU'AH has taken away. But Baruch be the name, the Bashem of YAHU'AH. Even in the midst of his children being killed, his camels, his livestock being killed off, he still Baruch the name. Now notice he said, I Baruch the name. Again, Baruch the name. And people say the name isn't here and all this. Come on now. The name is here. He said Baruch, and I still favor the name, even though he was naked and his children had been killed off. In all this, Ayub or Job did not transgress or sin, nor ascribe wrongdoing to Allah, Almighty One, YAHU'AH. Powerful. So again, we look at the first beginnings of the troubles of Ayub or Job. That was chapter 1. We will now have YAHU'AHS Yadah read the second portion, chapter 2 of Ayub.
Again, the Yom came to be that the sons of Ayub came to present themselves before YAHU'AH, and Shaitan also came among them to present himself before YAHU'AH. And YAHU'AH said to Shaitan, from where do you come? And Shaitan answered YAHU'AH and said, from diligently searching in all the arts, and from walking up and down in it. And YAHU'AH said to Shaitan, have you considered my servant Ayub, that there is none like him on the art, a perfect and straight man, one who fears Allah, turns aside from evil, and still he holds fast to his integrity, although you incited me against him to destroy him without cause. And Shaitan answered YAHU'AH and said, skin for skin, and all that a man has, he would give for his life. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike his bone and his flesh, if he would not curse you to your face. And YAHU'AH said to Shaitan, see, he is in your hand, only spare his life. And Shaitan went out from the presence of YAHU'AH and smote Ayub with loathsome sores, from the sole of his feet to the crown of his head. And he took a potsherd with which to scrape himself while he sat in the midst of the ashes. And his Asha, his wife, said to him, do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse Allah YAHU'AH and die. But he said to her, you speak as one of a foolish woman speaks. Indeed, should we accept only good from Allah and not accept evil or Ra? In all this, Ayub did not transgress with his lips. And three of the friends of Ayub heard of all this this evil that came on him, and each one of them came from his own place. Alphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Sukite, Sufar the Namathite, and they met together to come to sympathize with him and to comfort him. And they lifted up their eyes from the distance and did not recognize him. And they lifted up their voices and they wept. And each one tore his robe and sprinkled dust on his head toward the Shemayim. Then they sat down with him on the ground 7 days, 7 Yormems, and 7 Lilas, 7 nights. And no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that the pain was very great.
Okay, thank you, YAHU'AHS, Yadah. Let's recap on that real quick, everyone. So we're looking at the fact that he had bulls. That's what that means there. Again, if anybody knows that other word I was looking at in chapter 1. Oh, thank you, Yadah. It means differential, respect, obeisance. That word was in reverence, submission. So this is what he must have had, definitely, for Yahuwah, which we all should have for Yahuwah. Thank you very much. So again, what we're talking about real as a cap for chapter 2, as Yadah so beautifully read that. Again, he had bulls. Not just one bull on the arm or a bull on the leg. From the top of the crown, it says, to the bottom of his feet. Bulls hurt. They bleed. They smell. And he was in so much pain that his friends were willing to sit there for 7 days with him to try to comfort him, but they didn't even want to speak to him because he was in so much pain. To talk hurt. But even in that, with his wife coming, saying, look, curse Yahuwah, just die so he can stop this pain. Because in death, at least you will feel no pain. He said no. He did not curse Yahuwah. And, you know, we get little belly aches, or, you know, we run out of money, or we get fired from our jobs, or whatever happened, and we all, woe is me, bring out the violin and stuff like that. Instead of, you know, saying, you know, hey, and Ayub was really, you know, trustworthy to Yahuwah in every way. Like, unlike me, I know when I'm starting, something happened to me, I'll be like, oh, I know something I done did last week, or something I done did in my mind, so I deserve it. But Ayub really didn't. He really didn't. And Yahuwah allowed the enemy to come in because Yahuwah knows who really, that Yahuwah said, I searched the rich. He allowed the enemy to search the rich, but Yahuwah searched the rich for those that are loyal and allegiant, and Ayub was definitely one of them. And he knew this. Yahuwah was all-knowing. The enemy is who's not all-knowing, okay? But he's all-knowing. So that was a powerful scripture that YAHU'AHS Yadah read, because, again, he was in bulls. I mean, he was in much pain. So much pain. Again, it was just too painful for him to speak. And his friends knew it. They looked at him and was like, wow, he's in so much pain. So now we have YAHU'AHS Nabi YahuahshamaYahu, the prophet that hears from Yahuwah. He will read chapter 3, and then we'll do a recap. And that will end our Ayub portion for the day, and we'll resume tomorrow. Well, actually, today has come in because we do evening to evening, so the day is already in, the Yom is in, but and then we'll resume tomorrow with 3 more chapters. So, okie doke. Let me get going here.
Shalom. Okay. Chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the Yom of his birth. And Job spoke and said, let the Yom perish on which I was born. And the Lila night it was said, a male child has been conceived. Let that Yom be darkness. Let not YAHU'AH from above seek it, nor let light shine upon it. Let Let darkness and the shadow of death buy it back. Let a cloud dwell on it. Let all the blackens the fighting it. That lila night. Let darkness size it. Let it not be included among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Let it not look. Let that be silent. Let no singing come into it. Let those curse it who curse the who are ready to stir up Luathon. Let the stars of it twinkle be dark. Let it wait for light, but have none, and let it not see the eyelashes of the dawn, for it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not die from the womb, come forth from the belly, and expire? Why were the knees to receive me, or breasts for me to suck? For now I would have been lying in Shalom. I would have slept, then I would have been at rest with sovereigns and counselors of the earth, who builds ruins for themselves, or with wars, who have gold, who fill their houses with silver, or as a hidden autonomy birth, as infants who never was light. There was wrong seas, seas raging, and there the weary are a rest. The prisoners rest together. They do not hear the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Why does he give light to the suffering, and life to the bitter of being, who are waiting for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than treasures, who rejoice exceedingly? They are glad when they find the grave. When does he give light to a man?
Why does he give?
Why does he give light to a man whose way has been hidden, and who YAHU'AH has hedged in? For my silence comes from I eat, and my groans pour out like water, for that which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I dreaded has overtaken me. I have not been at ease, nor I have been undisputed, nor undisturbed, nor been at rest, yet trouble comes.
Powerful, powerful. Real recap. Book chapter 3, powerful. He said, basically, if we sum it up, he cursed the day he was born. He was in so much pain and so much sadness and atrocities that he wanted to be basically wiped off the calendar. He wanted to go back up in his mother's womb. Why did he have to even be born? Why couldn't he just been stillborn? That he basically would rather have death, because death would, at least he would rest from the pain and the suffering and the sorrows that this man had. Woe to his sorrows. He searched for death like a treasure. That's deep, that's profound. He said his sighing comes before I eat, and my groanings pour out like water. He groans and he's sad, and it pours out. He groaned so much that it was just like water, like a fountain that came out. I greatly fear, the great fear has come upon him. which I dreaded has overtaken me. Fear, sadness. He said, I've not been at ease. No rest for him. He's not been undisturbed from the sadness and sorrow and his pain, Yet trouble continues to come. So when you hear the statement a lot, have patience of Job or Job, I'm telling you, the patience of this man to suffer the way he did is indescribable, because he's even saying, like, I cursed the day I was born. Like, why do you even give light to a man of my suffering? Why couldn't I just been born stillborn? Why did you allow a breast to feed me so I could get to this point, basically, is what he's saying. As I've never read the book of Job, just read it. I've had excerpts that I can, facilitate some truth on, but I've never just really read it for my own self, because I study a little bit different than most people. So this is going to be interesting on doing this Torah, and it's not a Torah portion, because the first 5 books are Torah, but the ancient portions of the book of Job, it's going to be an interesting walk to read it. Again, I'll do a quick recap. And real quick, I'll thank YAHU'AHS, Yadah, the songbird of YAHU'AH, YAHU'AHS, Navi, YahuahshamaYahu, the prophet that hears, for reading this. And just a real cap of what you felt chapter 2 meant to you. Yadah, Yahu. Was it great testing, you think, for it?
Yeah, I'm just kind of taken back at all that we haven't even gotten to the middle of the book of Ayub, but all that he's gone through thus far. It's like, wow, I know in my own walk, I get upset about little things, the situations that might not go my way, or just any little thing. And these are major things. This man was beloved to Yahuwah, for real. He trusted Yahuwah. He desires to please Yahuwah and everything. It even says in the first chapter, that he turned away from evil. And thank you. He turned away from evil. And I know me in this walk that I've been in, my 27 years of living, but since I've been in the walk of Yahuwah, it keeps turning around. I haven't always turned away from Ra. I know for me, the stuff that Ayub went through, I deserve that, but I'm just like, man, I do deserve it. I know I deserve it, but it's just amazing how a man who didn't do any evil in that time period, at least that I can see here.
He spoke. Yahuwah said it, so
he turned away from evil, and he's going through so much, but it just shows how much love he had for Yahuwah. As my read, I think it's verse 20. I know we're supposed to talk about 22, but in verse 21 of chapter 1, after all his children was gone, his herd, his camels, sheep, whatever else, even his servants was taken away from him. Even his wife saying that stupid, wicked statement that she said, he still was like, Baruch be the name of Yahuwah. And I'm sitting here, be going through stuff, and I'd be like, man, Yahuwah, I know what I did to go through some of the stuff that I'm going through, but even when I didn't understand, why me? Why am I going through this? And this man sitting here, they do nothing, and he's like, hey, Baruch be the name of Yahuwah, and I'm like, but it's just amazing. It's truly amazing how the example that Yahuwah has, the best example that he's given us is actually Yahusha. But the example that Ayub has shown us all, like Ahmad says, to have the patience of Ayub. Many of us don't have the patience. Many of us don't have patience at all. Many of us don't even know how to be patient in situations. But I'm just thankful for this opportunity to be able to read this book with my family, the book of Ayub or Job, and be able to get an understanding of actually self-evaluation from what we've just read, these first 3 chapters, and being able to see where we are within our intimacy or our relationship with Yahuwah, and to see where, like my brother says, show me where I'm lacking. Like my mom says, rid me of myself.
Powerful.
To show us, you know, where we're going wrong, what are we doing wrong, what we need to do correctly, what we need to change. So
Powerful.
I just wanted to share that with everyone. Yeah.
Awesome. I'd like to hear more when we start on the next chapter. That was powerful.
Yeah.
And for you in chapter 3, YahuahshamaYahu, Prophet to Hears, what did you get from that in chapter 3 there?
I feel like everything he said, it was just deep. Like, this man was in so much pain, and I'm over here complaining like I've been through something. I ain't been through nothing. I did wicked. You know what I'm saying? This man didn't do nothing. I deserve destruction. Look what this man's chapter 3, verse 10. For it did not shut up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Like, that was deep to me.
Yes.
That was deep to me. Like, then he said, chapter 3, verse, I think 1 to 2, I think. After this, Ayub opened his mouth and cursed the womb of his birth. Like, that was deep. Like, this man didn't do nothing. I'm over here complaining, talking about, oh, my daddy scared me. Nah, man, this is like, what we be complaining about, small little thing, they ain't nothing. This man didn't do nothing. Like, I don't deserve to even be here. This man, you know what I'm saying? And I'm over here talking about I did all this and that. No, I did a lot of wicked things. You know what I'm saying? I deserve death and destruction. This man didn't do nothing, and he still stayed firm. He still stayed firm and trust YAHU'AH, YahuahshamaYahu, the root. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I want to be. That's how I want to be. I want to be just like that. I just want to be like that. I want to be strong the way that man's strong. His children died. He lost everything, and he didn't do nothing to lose everything. Like, wow. And we be over here talking about, oh, we lost this and that. Cause we did something to lose. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even supposed to have life right now for what we be doing. You know what I'm saying? This man ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? He still didn't curse Yahuwah. He ain't do none of that. That's how I want to be. I know I ain't cursing Yahuwah, but he that man the bomb right there. Like, that really, that man.
I even think about in chapter 2 where he talks about where it's a conversation between YAHU'AH and Shaitan, and you know Shaitan's going after Ayub, and it's like when Shaitan come at us, most of the time we fall. We don't even think. We don't even go to YAHU'AH and be like, YAHU'AH, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Can you guide me? Can you help me on these matters? Most of the time we fall. We don't even give any admiration, or as the word said, I think it was obedience. We don't even give respect to YAHU'AH and trying to get an understanding or trying to go to him first and asking him about the situation. We just automatically fall. But Ayub showed us, like, I'm still going to do what you want me to do, no matter what's going on around me. No matter what your time throws at me, I'm still going to focus on you, YAHU'AH. I'm still going to focus on you. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to do what you've called me to do, no matter what. You know, and half the time, I know for me, I can only speak for me, I've fallen so many times when I should have went to YAHU'AH and said, YAHU'AH, you know what? Whatever your will is, I'm going to delight in it. If this is what you said that I should do, then I'm not going to do what my flesh tells me to do. I'm not going to do what my mind tells me to do. I'm going to do what you called me to do. So I felt that too in chapter 2 while I was reading the conversation between YAHU'AH and Shaitan about
Ayub.
Yeah.
I like chapter 3, verse 11. Why did I not die from the womb, come forth from the belly and expire? That is deep. Like, he really said he didn't want to be here. Like, and we over here complaining about little simple things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It be the smallest things we get. I know I'm being blameless. I be getting mad and all that, but it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't even be getting mad now because I deserve destruction for all the wickedness I did. You know what I'm saying? He strong. You know, he stayed firm. That's how I want to be. Get it though.
And there's another thing I want to say. This is a thing that as a family that we always say that we want to be unrecognizable. And I read in chapter 2 verse 13, and they lifted up their eyes from a distance and did not recognize him, and lifted their voices and wept. And even though in his form of unrecognizable was because, his hair might have been all over the place. Of course, he had boils on him. They weren't used to seeing this rich man in the state that he was in. But, us here, we talk about how Yahushua, when he was on the staff, how he was unrecognizable to all of those who walked with him, to all of those who talked to him, to all of those. Yeah, he was unrecognizable because of the whippings, because of the torture that they put upon him, because he gave up his life for all of us. And we talk about how we want to be unrecognizable to the world. We want to be more and more and more having the mind and the heart, the love of Yahusha, constantly being after Yahuwah's heart and being unrecognizable to our old self and walking in the new man that Yahuwah has called us to be for his esteem. So when I was reading that too, I was just like, man, this is powerful. And also just the fact that, his friends, they sat with him for 7 Yom means 7 days and 7 nights. Just sat with him and no one spoke a word. That was powerful to me too.
Because he was in so much pain. Well,
because he was in so much pain. Yep.
that's deep. All right, everyone. I have about 10% left on my phone, though. But it was really, really good conversation. A great Ayub or Job portion. We did do the first 3 chapters. We will do chapter 4, 5, and 6 today, because today is here, because we do believe in evening to evening. Join us. Get your book, your scriptures ready. Read along with us. If you have a question, or even if you have an input here, you could put it here. And let's discuss this book of Job and break it down. Some you don't understand, like most of the words I didn't understand, which I should have been more prepared, but I wasn't. But I mean, this is real time, real life time. So again, when you have tested me, I will come out like gold. Ayub 23:10. And we'll end with YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras. In the name of Yahusha, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras. In the name of Yahusha. Woman,
YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras. In the name of Yahusha.
YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras. In the name of Yahusha. YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH Shamaras, YAHU'AH covers. In the name of Yahusha, YAHU'AH, Yahusha, Yahudah in oneness. Thanks for everybody for coming out. We just love those that did come out. Many did. So, Yahuwah's willing, we'll be back tomorrow with the you portion, but throughout the day we'll do some other interesting topics as well. Some round tables, some blogs, or whatever we might want to call them, in the great name of Yahuwah and Yahushua. All right, everyone, YahuahshamaYahu and cover you in all the days of your life.
Shalom, shalom.